Welcome back to another episode of the Coffee Break Podcast. I'm your host, Slim. These are my brothers.
Yama.
Mukhtar.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest, childhood friend, hero of the community. This guy.
Hero of the community.
He really is. Hero of the community.
I like the way that sounds.
No, really. This guy really is one of them guys. You know what I mean? So, Najib, welcome to our couch, bro. Welcome to our show. It's a pleasure having you. Pleasure having you, Najib Farah in the cut, the one and only.
Full Govy. That's crazy.
He's a full name.
I'm just saying.
That's crazy.
She edit that out.
Yeah. Just let us know. We'll bleep it. It's unnecessary.
I meant it as a joke, guys.
I know.
If you want to drop the alias, if you want to even create a moniker right now, here's the time. Cameras right there. Lights, camera, action. Tell us who you are, bro. Tell us about you.
Let us know what streets call you.
What do the streets call you?
You guys literally all know me. I never had a nickname.
You actually never had a nickname, eh?
Always just Najib. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever tried a nickname?
Nah.
You never even tried.
I feel like people should give it to you. You know what I'm saying?
I've tried so many. I've tried Common.
Yeah.
That didn't come off,
Like, because of the rapper Common?
No, because I was Common phased on PSN, you know?
Yeah.
So I cut it to Common. Nobody calls me that. I tried the boy Carlton in high school. Mukhtar didn't even call me that. Nobody called me that.
Oh.
So now I just stick to Jama. Because now a lot of people, if you're not Somali, you can't really say Warsame.
Yeah.
And a lot of white people can't say the white version of my name either, Warsami.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, just call me Jama. You feel me?
That's honestly a fair. You're giving them a fair shake, you know? Like, yo, you can still get it.
100%. But yeah, y'all have Mukhtar. Do you have any difficulty with your name in public?
No, it just was Mukhtar. That's it.
Easier. Okay, and you're Mo.
They call me Mo
A
everywhere.
billion of you niggas.
I worked call center jobs majority of my life right now, and I've had so much fun with my name though. I've got people, they hear a certain sound when I say my name. I've gotten Thor. I've gotten
Thor.
Well, I've gotten Thor. I've gotten Wesley. People just hear what they hear and run with it, and I let it go because I want to see where the conversation goes.
After that. Nigga out here that knows you as Thor?
That's crazy.
I got a person Thor, and I think I got a close to a Thor. Okay. And I said, yeah, that's sick. Well, I'm cool with it.
I'm rocking with the name Wesley. I'm not gonna lie, that suits you.
Come on, but there was another Wesley in the office. I couldn't run with the Wesley.
There's only one Wesley.
Yeah,
One and only. Shout out my goat. But
oh wow, what's the Matthews, huh?
Yeah, man.
I'm not gonna lie, fam. This guy, he knew the method.
He really did.
I remember when you used to DM the guy, right?
Yeah.
Bro, every time he would play in Toronto, he's lining my boy.
Because it's just the wave, you know. Like I've been rocking with him.
That's the only fan he has in Canada.
But I've been rocking with him since day one, fam. So he's gotta show me. Really?
I know.
Real talk.
Just find one.
Just find an average, maybe like off the bench.
But he's gotta be nice.
Yeah.
That's be pretty decent.
Gotta be nice.
But DM them saying, yo, I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah, man. Create a stand account.
Come to Toronto, they're gonna give you something. They're gonna come to the game.
I'm not gonna lie.
They're gonna show you love.
Big
up was him. He was actually a good player.
You might have just sold out my whole method, fam. Trying to get tight with Dante DiVincenzo, you know. Got the games going over.
He's too big.
We're too old for this.
We have to. We gotta pass on the methods. I'm not gonna lie. But no, shout out to Wesley Matthews, bro. He really changed my life, bro. Took me to a bunch of games. I never met the guy though. That's the thing. Never got to meet him in person yet.
You got an opportunity now. He's retired, right?
Couch is right here, man. You know.
Yeah, come on now.
Hey. But yo, let's not to get too far into like just random conversation. I did want to have an actual like thought-provoking conversation about just the community that we're from, that we're involved in, specifically the Somali community in Toronto. You know, just based off of where we grew up and how we grew up versus today. And then I also wanted to shed light on some of the Somali-led initiatives that are going on in the city that I've been seeing pop up a lot more in the last maybe couple of years. What a time we're living in, guys. First off, let me just say that. Alhamdulillah, I feel like our community is blossoming more than they ever have. And it's based off of, I feel like a lot of the older generation, or not, I guess we kind of are in the older generation now, you know, like our
unk status now.
Unk status, you know, if you will. You know, I feel like our generation of people are just understanding how much the community needs us as, like, you know, pillars, people to help us out, people to help the younger generation, you know, go through certain things in life, especially where we're from. It's obviously very, like, you know, people get up to nonsense all the time. So we want to steer people away from those types of environments and, you know, kind of guide them into a better light. But it's actually very, like, it's very insane to see how much these types of initiatives have grown and have, you know, blossomed and become more prevalent in our community based off of, you know, when we were kids and stuff like that. I feel like we never really had that, you know?
I was thinking about that, the groups that came up now, but when we were younger, there's some groups that try to take initiative though. Like shout out Soya,
So yeah, it was a big deal. Yeah.
shout out the Muslim basketball organization NBA. They're important for guys to meet each other and across the city and things like that.
Right.
The mosques tried their best, but these new organizations are taking a big leap right now with the type of opportunities they're providing for kids.
And I feel like honestly, like it's really benefiting too, because like now kids have options, you know, like now the younger generation, they have options. They see people that are doing well in certain fields, in certain areas that they may get some type of interest in, and then eventually pursue, you know, as opposed to just like, you know, just be known for or used to what you're around all the time, which is kind of how we, to some degree, kind of grew up. But now that we do have the ability to kind of see what's in front of us or see, you know, quote unquote, the future from a younger perspective, it's easier to make a, you know, like a beneficial decision for what you're going to be in the future. And I feel like that's helping out a lot. You know, like the Somali community is blossoming, especially in Toronto, more than ever. Like Nice was here last episode and he was telling us that he's a part of this film that is led by a Somali director, which is huge for us. I don't think we've ever had a Somali Canadian film, you know, made by us, for us, with us, you know. So all of these like small things that are happening are just like cornerstones to us, like, you know, revolutionizing our community and actually thriving and being something for Toronto. You know what I mean? It's about time we start naming Western Lawrence Little Somalia. You know what I mean? Like, it's
100%.
how do we not have that nickname yet? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
agreed.
I've been to Little Italy. I've been to these other areas, man. Like, you know, we're popping. You know,
Islington and Dixon, right? Islington and Dixon should be
Islington and Dixon should be the cutoff, right?
Should be the cutoff.
That should be it. But no, what do you guys think? I mean, like, I know you're a little bit more tapped in with what's going on in the community, but like, just in terms of like a comparison from like when we were younger till now, like, do you see like the growth in like the Somali community itself?
Yeah, 100%. I think what do they call it? The third space.
That
concept is something that I don't know about you. I mean, I can't say I know about you guys because we didn't all grew up with each other, but like we didn't really have any of that growing up, you know.
Yeah.
So growing up, it was school, and then for me, I guess my quote unquote third space was just Duxie.
Facts, me too.
Where the same Duxie?
But if I was something you notice, I was in additional Duxie, brother.
You had another one?
Yeah.
Overtime?
I think at my peak, like from like middle school to like pretty much high school, I was in Duxie like 6 days a week. So it was like,
sheesh.
It was, you didn't even know that. You didn't
even know that, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're doing 5 days a week school and 6 days a week.
But straight. But yeah, so that was, I guess, my third space. But I think now there's a lot of opportunities for kids to have, I guess, somewhere to go, somewhere to be, people to see. And yeah, no, it's pretty nice. Obviously, we're not anti-Duxie. I'm very pro-Duxie, guys.
100%. But 6 days kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a lot of good for me. You know, I'm very, very thankful for the experience.
No, 100%.
But yeah, no, there's like you guys mentioned, there's a lot of, I guess, grassroots organizations, you know, that are helping out in just various different fields. There's people that I guess they're sports focused, so like little soccer teams. And
which is the one that you're a part of?
Me?
Yeah. Well, technically, you volunteer for, right?
Volunteer, you know.
But do you want to share light about what exactly they do? And
So I'm like I guess I'm a volunteer for an organization called Somali. It's a grassroots education, I guess, nonprofit. So it's really primarily focused. I believe it initially started just helping out like grade 12, grade 11, grade 12 kids.
Yeah.
Transition from high school to college and university. And like, you know, so just making that a little bit smoother for them. But alhamdulillah, you know, it's been going on for a couple of years now. I was definitely not there from the start, please. I'm not trying to
okay, don't worry.
The guys that founded they did the groundwork, they did they did all of that stuff. But yeah, so I think I joined officially, I guess you could say this year, as like a full-time volunteer, if you will. But so me specifically, I help out the university cohort. So like I said, it initially started off helping out high schoolers transition into university and college, but now they've expanded. They have, I guess, a middle school cohort for the younger kids, the super young generation. They have one for the high schoolers as well, and they have one for the college university students as well.
What made you wanna join? Like,
that's a great question, man. That's a good question. No, so I got a call one day. Obviously, I helped out like
in the past,
a lot
right?
in the past. Yeah. So it's like whenever I'm free, like, and like they would have an event or something, I would try to like help out or whatever.
Yeah.
But technically this year specifically, I got a call and one of my friends, he just said, yeah, you're doing this year. And,
you got voluntold?
That's how it goes.
Yeah,
Voluntold, yeah.
100%. Oh, that's your first
Yeah,
voluntold.
yeah.
I got voluntold, guys. Yeah, voluntold. But alhamdulillah, man, I'm not complaining. It's pretty fun. Like I enjoy the experience. You know, it keeps you hip, and you know, you see what
Of course,
younger kids are up to. You know, like
Yeah.
what slang they're using and stuff. So I'm not washed. You know,
Trust,
I
bro, you need that.
Like, yo, I see this word they're using on TikTok, but what does it mean? You know, like you know,
100%, yeah.
yeah. So they put you onto that. But yeah, so I guess that's the organization that I'm part of. But yeah, like Mo.
I guess, I mean, I go by Slim, but you know.
Slim, my fault.
Whatever, you call whatever you want.
I already dropped you.
Fam, call me whatever you want. Call
You
me.
know, it's gonna be
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
As Muhammad Ali was saying,
He gave the full call.
It's gonna be for Bobby, fam. All good.
I got you back.
That's
You know,
feedback,
like-
bro.
All good, man.
yeah. No, I'm saying like it is nice to see like the growth of it.
It is,
You know,
yeah.
there's different like groups, various parts of the city. You know, so you don't necessarily have to be from the West End. You don't have to be from like I guess Scarborough or the East
Mhm.
End or downtown region area. Like there's always there's something out there for all the kids. You know,
100%.
that's pretty cool, man. It's I wish we had it, but you know, it is.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I feel like, you know, and sorry not to cut you off,
Go ahead,
but
brother.
like we did have to some degree like third spaces when we were growing up, but they weren't like places where the older group of people were focused on helping the youth. It was more just like a supervision type of thing, you know, like they'd rent us a gym, we go play basketball for 2 hours, and then we just kind of call it a day and go, right? But now we're actually like sitting down with older people, from the older generation, like the young kids at least, you know, they're actually getting a chance to ask questions, you know, and like understand life in a better way. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you mentioned just now that they've added the middle school learning like kind of level, and then the high school, and then the college, university. That's literally like an add-on or a bonus to the community, because now we have more people reaching out and being in touch with the youth and getting them aligned with, you know, things that they may have not thought of, or they just aren't used to, you know, it's not in their environment stuff. So in terms of like where we are now, I feel like we're progressing in a very, very great way. And I feel like our community is being put on the map, and it's sky's the limit from here, to be honest with you. Like who knows where the Somali community of Toronto will be in 20 years based off of the trajectory right now, right? So
100%.
lots to be proud of.
Nah, just wanted to shout, like we said, say Somali, like just shout them out. Just so Smile Fatachi
Oh, so many.
is also doing
Miles
those.
Versace, yeah, that's another one too. That's
Yeah, those
doing
two
real
major
well.
ones are.
They're
Somali
Yeah,
together.
there you go.
host.
Yeah, Hidayah House.
Peace.
Yeah.
A lot, man.
Somali professionals.
Somali professionals.
Wow.
Come on, bro. I know them.
Yeah,
I mean,
come on,
know
dog.
them, bro. Come on, bro. Come on.
Allah, you're Somali professional. Come on now. No, but well, like, is there any more you know of, or
The top
that you
of my
could
head.
just shout out? Well, there's
Do you know off the top of your head, or is that
I think I
everything?
said all the ones.
Okay,
That
fair enough. Fair enough.
bless.
but
Yeah.
there are more. There are definitely.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. You know what I really liked about what you said? The third space component. Because people don't know how important having a third space is. Because you go to work, if you're a youth, you go to school, you come home. You go to school, you come home. It's really important to have a third space that you guys can go to, in which you can create a community, make friends, somewhere you're comfortable. Because you know what I do notice? A lot of people who lacked this third space, they look for community elsewhere. And sometimes that elsewhere isn't exactly where you want your youth to
100%.
be, you know?
100%.
Because being young, you always look for belonging. You look for where can I be? Who wants me? Where can I feel loved? And sometimes that's in places that don't necessarily down the pipeline is good for you, you know? And for my generation at least, and you guys are all included, I did notice a lot of my brothers who lacked this third space went to places in which later on ended them up in the wrong community, the wrong space. Some of them are behind bars, you know. But alhamdulillah, what I do love seeing is like these professionals who are our age, you know. Back in the day when we were young, we didn't really have an idea of what success looks like.
100%.
You know, because when we look at it, it's like I remember back in the day, fam, when I was applying for university. Let me tell you guys a funny story. I was applying for university. My grades were pretty decent, so I could go wherever I wanted. But then it was like, even if I get a 4-year degree, would a company want to hire me? I'm a black guy. I look visibly like everything that's not on television. Because growing up, when you think of an office, what do you see? White people. You don't see people that look like us. So why the hell would they even hire me in the first place, you know? But I remember I had a friend who was like, you just go in this program, you'll be fine. So alhamdulillah, I went in that program. And then I was able to make connections with people who could show me that there is life after this, you know? So, alhamdulillah, what I'm noticing is, especially with the one that I follow on TikTok called Somali Professionals, I love how they showcase different Somali people in different areas of business. Like, there's a woman who is there's a Somali woman who is a lawyer. Do you think I could ever be a lawyer? There's a Somali. There is a.
Why not?
You could be anything you want.
Why not, bro?
No, at the time, it's different when you're a kid and thinking that, can I actually do this? Because when you have somebody when you have somebody who looks like you in the place that you might want to go, then it becomes a direct line of I can do this. If he did it, I can do it, you know? Compared to if I don't see it, is it even possible for me?
She's the physical representative.
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
dream. Yeah.
Like there's a path that she took that I can possibly take that can take me there, you know, compared to me not having a sight of being able to, that I can do that, you know? So I love seeing, especially our generation, kind of step up because we didn't have that to look up to. We didn't have people who we could look up to and be like, blah, 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 you know? So a lot of these organizations like Somali Professionals and Say Somali, they provide the opportunity for kids to know that they can do more. You know what I mean? Compared to just sitting at home doing nothing, you know? Because realistically, fam, I remember you and we used to take the bus together to go to our internship.
Yeah.
Fam, I didn't think they would keep me after. I thought they were going to cut me.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like, do you see the way we look? You know? But alhamdulillah, I had a Muslim manager at the time that took a chance on me, you know? And he was like, Warsami, I want to see you here. Because I remember we have one-on-ones frequently, right? And I kept telling him, I'm going to make the most out of these 3 months. I know you're not going to keep me, but I'm going to make sure I learn everything, you know? In the back of his head, I remember he was saying that, right? So small story. I remember when I was in the interview process to get the job that I wanted to get, I never thought I would get it. I was like, this is good experience for me. I'm not going to get it, but let me just get the questioning down, okay? So then that happened. I did the interview. I thought it went fine, but I'm like, there's people who are more experienced than me. I'm not going to get this job, right? So then, alhamdulillah, I remember he called me in the room randomly, like, yo, Warsami, come in the room. And then he was like, come sit down. He was like, yo, I want to hire you. I was like, excuse me? I don't bring nothing to the table. Why would you want to take a chance on me? And he was like, I see so much potential in you that I think it would be a waste for you to leave this company.
Cool.
You know? And fam, I remember I left that room, went to the staircase, called my mom. I was like, I can help out. I can help out at home, you know? So my point, the whole point of that story being that I think it's very rare that Somali youth are given the opportunity to be in these spaces, because if we get the chance that we need, I feel like we can ace anything.
100%.
You know, and I feel like these grassroots organizations are doing that. Like, I wanted a sponsorship back in the day. If I'm still paying back OSAP. You know what I mean? Like,
It is, yeah.
they take monthly from me, you know?
That's what it is.
So, alhamdulillah, just to circle back, I love what's happening. I love our community in our age group for doing what they're doing for the youth. Because, fam, if they weren't there, what would they be doing?
100%.
You know?
Real talk.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and also, there's something that I noticed, I guess, like working with like the kids nowadays. Not everybody has the same experience, I guess, that we have. Like I said, guys, we all knew each other growing
Yeah,
up.
of course, yeah.
We all went to like the same schools.
Yeah.
We all more or less knew everybody in those schools. It was predominantly black. It was predominantly maybe Muslim, Somali, whatever. It felt normal to us. It felt whatever.
Yeah.
And then now I'm speaking to some of these kids, like they live in neighborhoods or they go to schools outside their neighborhood where like they're like the only black person or they're the only Somali. It's like a school of like 1,000 kids.
Wow.
It's like maybe 4 Somalis, one like per each grade, you know, or like there's only like actually for an example, like this past Ramadan we got invited to like one of the high schools that the kids go to, and they had like an iftar, and they were like, I was just looking at the yearbooks, like I guess the graduation
The
photos,
one
you
on
know?
the walls.
Yeah, on the walls,
Mhm.
and it's like the graduating class is maybe like 200 kids, 250, 300 kids, like 5 black people,
Wow.
and
Okay.
Somalis.
Yeah.
So it's like people that are like these kids that grow up in these neighborhoods or that have these experiences, that they go to these schools, like these spaces or these organizations, they give them an opportunity to at least meet more Somali people that they would never know. You know, like I think we always would notice, like when you go to university or something and like you meet a Somali person and you could tell just immediately oh, yeah, this guy, he didn't grow up around Somali people, you know?
Yeah, you
you
can
know,
tell.
You could always tell. You could always tell.
Immediately.
Yeah.
But it's not really their fault. It's like, it's just, you
It's just
grow up where
It's
you
a
grow up,
difference.
you know?
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
difference.
so it's like, at least these organizations now is giving kids the opportunity to meet people that are more that are like them, you know, I guess maintain their culture, you know, they're learning more about, I guess, what it is to be Somali, you know, and it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
Also the trips too. That's really like I like the partnerships that Say Somali has with like Raptors.
Yeah,
Like it's so beautiful how, fam, my first game I went to, I paid out of pocket. You know what I mean, fam? I had to wait until I had my own money. So alhamdulillah, seeing the youth being able to get these opportunities and see things that they normally wouldn't, I think it's so beautiful. You know,
100%.
And I think they're instituting the importance of community. Like I was talking to a Somali father. He was an Uber driver, and he was surprised I spoke Somali because, again, his kids didn't go to a predominantly Somali area. They didn't go to schools and things like that. And these communities, organizations are important for that, of teaching kids, there's a different way of living. We're not all the same. At the same time, there's everyone that could share an interest with you. And the importance of feeding back your community as well, the Ramadan stuff that crapht.ca and Say Somali do, feeding the community, sending food back home, that's incredible and stuff that we've never seen before. Some of them Sajid did that, but we didn't physically see that. We didn't physically see videos of the people back home that getting the food with the pictures and logos on it saying thank you back, because they now have food to eat and they have food to break their fast with, and they get blessings in the Muslim community. So that's an incredible thing, man.
No, it really is. And honestly, I just want to add on two quick things, I think, before we wrap up the conversation. But one thing that you mentioned before, fam, that I want to highlight is that I feel like the mentality has changed a little bit for the Somali community. Just the idea of, quote unquote, I'm not going to get this is starting to kind of fade away a little bit. We're getting confidence that we didn't necessarily have before because of the visual representations, like seeing that Somali lady as a lawyer, you know, like just seeing us in different spaces now has given our youth, in my opinion, more confidence to actually, you know, pursue these fields and actually try their best in like certain aspects of life that they probably never thought of in a different way, right? And then the other point I wanted to make too was that the fact that these initiatives are helping, like you were saying, that the Somali kids that aren't necessarily growing up in Somali-led communities and like going to school with other Somali people, the fact they have the opportunity now to learn their culture and learn, like, you know, similar things that we grew up kind of, you know, just passing off as just like, it's just life for us, is really helpful and beneficial, and like will grow the Somali community in a better way, because now we have, like, there's options now, you know, like, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that our parents were, you know, they're first generation immigrants, and they came here and didn't really know much, so they just kind of helped us survive in a certain way. But since our generation now is getting a little bit older, we're into the adult space, and we've lived here for all of our lives, we actually know kind of how to work the community and kind of how to work the system in our favor and help us get a little bit more leverage than we used to have. So I feel like this is just the best time for us right now, and it's only getting better. Alhamdulillah. I can only say, like, these initiatives are doing the best work in the community right now for the Somali community, because when I look back on the times when I was a kid, fam, like, we just didn't have it.
I didn't
have it. We just didn't have it. Like you're saying, it was just school, home, duksi. That's it. That's it.
6 times a week.
6 times a week, you know? Mine was a Saturday, Sunday. I'm not gonna lie.
Monday, Thursday.
Monday, Thursday.
Yeah.
How about you? What was your schedule?
I was traveling Duxies. I went to Duxie in your buildings. I went to Duxie in Tanridge. I went to Duxie in Dix. I went to a bunch of different Duxies. So
you got kicked out?
No, we just see how the temperatures go in different places.
The Ma'alin hit you? Is that right? You were like, yeah, I'm not.
No, I didn't have an issue with Ma'alin. I was not a crier as a kid, so I didn't have an issue with the beatings. It just, you go to where your Dukes say you go. That's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the last
I used to be one of those good students in Dixie, you know, always pass the Asher. And then the kids that were not passing, they used to look at me like I'm crazy. Like, I studied so well. You're getting hit. It's not my fault. The hell are you looking at me? You know?
Yeah, teacher's pet.
I had to be, bro. I was trying to get whooped, fam. You know what I mean?
Just the last thing to close this out, I want to shout out there's a lot more visual representatives, as you stated, for podcasting as well. And there's voices for the community that are giving back and sharing different messages and sharing some advice and guidance that some kids may not have. So there's us, the Coffee Break Podcast, Voices from the Staircase, Digital Sisterhood, Switching Gears, and there's probably many more that are coming up and trying to share to the community that we're different. We may have different messages, but we all care for our community. We want to do better for our community.
We recently not recently, but we went to the Cousins Connections podcast live show.
Yeah.
And that to me, it really like it warmed my heart like crazy, because just the fact that we saw these creators that we've actually been following, we've had a connection with to some degree, actually bring out this event and have it look as amazing as it was, and have the guests that come on perform what they did. We had an extension of their guests come on to our podcast very quickly afterwards. Luis Merto was on our couch, and we had a very polarizing conversation, actually very informational conversation about the conflict of what's going on in Israel and Palestine, right? But without that experience, we would have never had that conversation here. We would never had a chance to build that connection, build that bridge, right? So I just want to say, I just love what our community is doing now. We're like I said, it's only going uphill. Sky's the limit. So we're going to do our part, That's what we got to do. We got to do our part.
One more thing. I wanted to end off this episode with, I want all of us to give one advice to the youth that you think would greatly benefit them. Starting off with you, fam.
Sorry, me?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I give some gems. I appreciate you recognizing my voice.
I feel like you have the most to say here, fam. Go ahead.
Come on now.
Do your thing.
Now, there's certain kids that they're concerned about, like for me, you guys know I speak about random stuff at
all the time.
Point. Yeah. It's my thing. But don't worry about geeking out with the wrong people, and not geeking in the wrong term. If you have interests and you want to go down that path, there's a whole lot of research out there, and there's people out there in the community out there for that. So don't worry about the people around you not being happy, not being excited about the things that you're excited about. You'll find those people, but just keep on going down the path you want to go down.
That's great.
Very beautifully said.
Come on now.
So, for me personally, I always thought, bro, I was never going to make anything of my life. I don't know. Maybe it was the community I came from. Maybe it was seeing the older generation at the time, even though they were very successful, I saw a lot that weren't at the same time. So I'm like, what if I fall under this route, So what I do want to tell the youth of today and the generation of today is that, like, really, wallah, you're capable of anything, If you have the right mentor, if you do the right education, you have the right plan, you can be in any room that you want, Because realistically, who's going to deny you of that? You just have to put yourself in the place to know how to get there. And if you have the right people around you and you have the right mindset, it may take a little bit of time, but inshallah, whatever that your mind comes to fruition of, it's possible. Wallah, it's possible.
Solid.
That's amazing advice. How do I go after that?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
How do I go after that?
Do your thing, fam.
I mean, okay, if I was going to give,
What would you want to be told as a young youth?
Ooh, that's a great question. Now that's a great question. Okay. In a short way of saying this, my advice to the youth would be, don't be afraid to ask questions, no matter how dumb it may sound, and do not be afraid to try new experiences. I feel like curiosity is the most important thing for a child, or like somebody as a youth who identifies as a youth, but it could also be a curse too. You know what I mean? Depending on which path you travel down. But I feel like those two things, asking questions, no matter how dumb they might sound, and trying new experiences will really help you shape yourself, your personality, and guide you to like adulthood in a more like, linear way. So that would be my advice for the youth: is ask more questions and try new things.
Solid.
I guess picking up off of what Muhammad Ali said, no, I guess my advice would be, you don't have to have it all figured out.
I agree.
I know when you're like 18 or like when you're in high school, whatever, like they tell you, okay, like choose the program that you want to do for the job that you want to do for the next 40.
They tell you to pick your life at 18.
Pretty much, they tell you to pick your life at 18.
Okay, I picked it though.
Yeah.
Well, you got it right, but not everybody gets it right, bro.
Okay, picked it though.
You're like 1 out of 100.
Mashallah.
Mashallah.
But you know what I'm saying, for like the rest of us,
Yeah.
like what you want to do at 18 may not be what you want to do when you're like 21.
100%.
When you're 25, you don't have to have it all figured out. You could always try out new things. Like the things that you're interested in today, maybe you won't be as interested in tomorrow, but it's okay.
Mm.
Maybe it can lead to something else
Mhm.
that you never, like, you would have never even thought of, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, let's say hypothetically, you get into, I guess, content creation, and you try that out or something. So you get in front of a camera, or you get comfortable, like, I guess, being online. You know, what you guys, you guys, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
But maybe after 2-3 years, you realize, okay, maybe this is not what I like doing the most,
Mhm.
but you enjoyed, I guess, the behind the scenes work.
Yeah.
Fair,
So you
yeah.
get into production, you get into
Mhm.
editing or whatever.
Mm.
So like I said, you didn't know in the beginning or 3 years ago that maybe this is what I want to do, but because you tried anything, or you tried something random, or you
Mhm.
tried something new, it led you to what you want to do now, or what you're
Exactly.
gonna do in the future. You know, Allahu alam, like, who even knows what we're gonna be doing in the next couple years?
100%.
Like, I know all of us are doing individual things right now, but you don't know if maybe next year our lives could be totally different.
Right.
And it could be from one thing that happens today, maybe, or one thing that happens tomorrow. So
Mhm.
just be open to anything. You don't have to have it all figured out. But, and take one.
Very well said, brother.
Extremely well.
Very well
Come on now.
And just to add to that point, to pivot is not to be a failure.
100%.
You know what I mean? A lot of people think if I did this for 5 years,
Yeah.
this is the rest of my life,
Yeah.
And if I turn back right now and start from ground zero, I'm a failure, blah, 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 To pivot is actually to better yourself. Because you don't want to be doing what you hate for the next 40, 50, 60 years,
Yeah.
So if you're in something you don't like, and if you don't enjoy it, it's perfectly fine to take a step back and be like, maybe I should change my program. Maybe I should do trades. Or maybe university school is not for me. How can I do? Because growing up, we were told that university and school is the only way to be successful.
No.
Truth be told, alhamdulillah, it worked for me, but I know a lot of brothers that didn't work for it, and they're making way more than I did. You know what I mean? So don't be scared to pivot, do what's best for you, and inshallah, things will work out.
And not everyone learns the same. That's a
true.
very big thing I learned later on in life. Not everyone, school's not for everybody. Video, some people, I learned by doing things. I don't learn by listening to someone talk and start falling asleep. I don't know if I'm narcoleptic or what, but someone talk, huh?
You diagnosed yourself?
If someone's talking too long and it's not a conversation,
Yeah.
I start dozing off. But yeah, no one learns the same. Some people learn by doing, some people learn by listening, some people learn by reading. Just figure out how do you learn and just go that way.
Okay.
Amazing. You want to wrap us up?
All right.
Hit him with the voice. Go ahead.
No, on a serious note, I very much enjoyed that episode.
No, that was a great discussion. I feel like that's going to be very beneficial to somebody somewhere. So I'm very happy about that.
You know what I mean? Thank you for watching another episode of the Coffee Break Podcast. Today we talked about some heavy topics in which we hope you guys enjoy. Let us know in the comments if you agree. And also, I would love to start something new in the comments today where it's like, tell us what advice you would give to the community. What do you think? What would you want to be told as a young person in order to be successful today, and what you weren't told as a younger person? Having said that, I am your host, Jama, my other host,
Mukhtar.
my other host,
Slim.
my guest,
Najib.
Peace.
Bow.
Us.